As the geological elder of the Canaries, Fuerteventura tells a story written in deep time, one that began with a submarine eruption over 20 million years ago. It is the archipelago's foundation stone, a vast shield volcano whose once fiery heart has long since quieted. Unlike its younger, more precipitous siblings, this island has had millennia to settle into its own skin. The relentless work of wind and water has patiently ground down its formidable peaks, sculpting them into the soft, rolling contours and sweeping, ochre-colored plains we see today. This is a landscape that speaks not of violent, explosive creation, but of immense, unhurried transformation. Even the golden dunes of Coralejo are a testament to this patient process, their sands carried on the wind from the Sahara, a constant, whispering reminder of the island's proximity to the African continent. To walk here is to feel the profound stillness of a world shaped by the slow, deliberate breath of geological history, a place where time itself feels tangible. While Florence and Siena often command the Tuscan spotlight, Arezzo has always played by its own rules, a city built on a foundation of quiet, world-altering genius. It was here, in the early 11th century, that the Benedictine monk Guido of Arezzo organized the very language of Western music, devising the staff notation and the solfege scale, the familiar do-re-mi, that allowed melodies to be written down and shared for the first time. This legacy of profound, almost invisible innovation permeates the city's atmosphere, felt in the unique, dramatic slope of the Piazza Grande, which defies conventional geometry, and in the intellectual rigor of Giorgio Vasari's architecture. Arezzo reminds us that the most significant contributions aren't always the loudest. It's a city that didn't just create masterpieces, it composed the very framework upon which countless future masterpieces would be built, a silent score underlying the grand opera of the Renaissance. The towering quartz sandstone pillars of Zhangjiajie seem to defy gravity, rising from the forest floor like the skeletal fingers of a forgotten world. These are not volcanic spires or monuments carved by human hands, but the patient work of nature on a canvas first laid down on an ancient seabed over 380 million years ago. Their unique verticality is a direct result of physical weathering. Water seeps into natural fractures, freezes during the cold winters, and expands, prying the rock apart with immense, silent force. This relentless cycle, amplified by the subtropical moisture that perpetually cloaks these peaks and nurtures the tenacious flora clinging to every ledge, has meticulously whittled away all but the most resilient stone. What we perceive as a timeless, static kingdom is, in fact, a landscape in slow, constant conversation with the elements, a masterpiece sculpted not by addition, but by an eon of deliberate, patient subtraction. Known to Indonesians as Kota Hujan, the rain city, Bogor exists under an almost permanent, life-giving curtain of rain. This isn't a meteorological anomaly, but a direct consequence of its geography, cradled between the volcanic sentinels of Mount Salak and Mount Gede. For centuries, this orographic effect has forced moisture-laden air to rise and cool, bestowing upon the city its famously temperate climate. It was this very coolness that drew the Dutch, who established a retreat here named Buitenzorg, or Without a Care, a stark contrast to the oppressive heat of colonial Batavia. The true legacy of this perpetual moisture, however, is the magnificent Bogor Botanical Gardens, founded in 1817. Here the rain is not an inconvenience, but the essential architect of a sprawling, verdant sanctuary, a world-class institution for tropical botany that thrives precisely because of the climate the volcanoes created. The city doesn't just exist in the rain, it was born from it. Long before the first infinity pools reflected the tropical sun, Nusa Lembongan's true wealth was cultivated in the shallow straits that separate it from its sister island, Teningan. At low tide, the water recedes to reveal a vast submerged quilt of seaweed farms, a testament to a livelihood intricately woven with the lunar cycle. For generations, families have harvested specific algae species here, which thrive in the constant, nutrient-rich currents of the Indonesian throughflow. This is not merely a local trade. The carrageenan extracted from this harvest is a crucial gelling agent, finding its way into countless global products, from cosmetics to processed foods. To witness the farmers poling their shallow boats through these aquatic plots is to see a different kind of island life, one governed by the pull of the moon rather than the demands of tourism. It's a quiet, profound reminder that this tranquil escape is also a working coastline, where an ancient maritime tradition holds on precariously against the rising tide of modernity. The first impression of Belitung is one of geological theater, where the protagonists are immense granite monoliths, smooth as colossal river stones. Unlike the volcanic drama typical of the Indonesian archipelago, these formations are the weathered crowns of a vast subterranean batholith, the Southeast Asian Tin Belt, stretching for nearly 3,000 kilometers. Forged deep within the Earth's crust during the Triassic period, over 200 million years ago, they are silent witnesses to an era when dinosaurs first walked the planet. Their sheer scale and placid, rounded forms create a surreal juxtaposition against the fine quartz sand and impossibly clear waters, a landscape sculpted not by fire, but by millennia of patient erosion. To stand in their shadow is to feel the profound weight of deep time, a humbling reminder that this tranquil paradise is a story told on a timescale far grander than our own. Clinging to the very edge of its rocky promontory, Porto Venere stands as the final sentinel guarding the Gulf of Poets. Its name, Portus Veneris, or the Port of Venus, is no mere romantic flourish. It harks back to a Roman temple that once stood here, dedicated to the goddess of love and beauty, built to watch over these intensely strategic waters. The landscape itself seems born of that mythic past. The dramatic black and gold veins striping the limestone cliffs are a rare and precious local marble, a geological signature deliberately echoed in the starkly beautiful bands of the Church of San Pietro. This Gothic jewel, consecrated in the year 1198, rises from the very foundations of that ancient pagan site, a powerful symbol of shifting beliefs across the centuries. Looming above it all, the formidable Doria Castle, a Genoese stronghold from the 12th century, serves as a stark reminder that for every moment of divine beauty, there was an equal need for military might. Standing here, you understand this is not merely a destination. It is a layered manuscript of stone and sea, a gateway where millennia of faith, commerce, and conflict have been permanently etched into the Ligurian coastline. Polignano a Mare doesn't simply sit by the sea. It erupts from it, a cascade of whitewashed buildings clinging to the very edge of a 20-meter-high limestone precipice. This dramatic perch is no accident of architecture, but a story told in stone. The town's foundation is karstic limestone, a porous rock sculpted over millennia by the patient work of water. Its famous cove, Lama Monachile, is the fossilized mouth of an ancient river that carved a path to the Adriatic, which in turn has relentlessly hollowed out a network of sea caves directly beneath the city's foundations. The inhabitants didn't conquer this landscape. They fused with it, building their homes from the very same stone they stand upon, creating a living structure that is both human-made and a product of immense geological time. To stand here is to witness a dialogue between elements, a conversation that has shaped not just a coastline, but a unique and resilient way of life, where the boundary between the natural and the built simply dissolves. Long before the Spanish conquest, this very ground was the seat of power for the Guanartematos, the ancient kingdoms of Gran Canaria. Galdar was not just a settlement, it was a royal court, a center of a sophisticated culture whose most enigmatic legacy lies hidden beneath the modern town, the Cueva Pintada. Discovered by a farmer in the 19th century, this volcanic tuff cave is adorned with geometric motifs, triangles, circles, and squares in red, black, and white ochre. These are not mere decorations. Archaeologists believe they may represent a complex lunar calendar or a form of proto-writing, a silent testament to a society deeply attuned to the cycles of nature. From the summit of the Galdar Mountain, a dormant volcanic cone that dominates the skyline, one can survey the fertile plains that sustained these people for over 1,000 years. The same rich, dark soil that fed the Guanche now supports the banana plantations that stretch towards the Atlantic. It's a powerful reminder that while empires rise and fall, the story of a place is etched not just in stone and pigment, but in the very land that continues to provide, layering one civilization's story directly on top of another. The Altai is more than a mountain range. It is a vast, open-air archive where continents and cultures have collided for millennia, earning its UNESCO designation as the Golden Mountains. Here, in the silent, high-altitude valleys, lie the Kurgans, the burial mounds of the enigmatic Scythian nomads. For over 2,500 years, the deep-seated permafrost has acted as a perfect preservative, a natural cryochamber that has yielded astonishing finds. It is the reason we can gaze upon the intricate, swirling tattoos on a chieftain's skin, or study the vibrant threads of the world's oldest surviving pile carpet, not as faded relics, but as they were the day they were interred. This isn't just archaeology, it is a profound testament to the power of the land itself. The same unforgiving climate that challenged these horsemen also guarded their secrets, turning the very soil into a silent, frozen library where the past doesn't feel distant, but merely dormant, waiting for the right moment to continue its story. Approaching the Faisal Mosque, one is immediately struck by what is absent: the traditional swelling dome that has defined Islamic architecture for centuries. In its place, an 8-sided tent-like shell of concrete rises dramatically, a vision conceived by Turkish architect Vedat Dalokay. His inspiration was not an imperial palace, but the humble form of a Bedouin tent, a powerful symbol of Islam's desert origins. The 4 towering minarets, each standing 260 feet, are not merely decorative. They anchor the structure, framing its sweeping lines against the verdant backdrop of the Margalla Hills. The entire complex feels less like an imposition on the landscape, and more like a geological extension of it, a man-made peak in dialogue with the natural ones behind it. Funded by a grant of $120 million from King Faisal of Saudi Arabia, the mosque became more than a place of worship upon its completion in 1986. It stands as a profound statement of Pakistan's identity, a nation honoring its deep-rooted faith while embracing a bold, forward-looking vision, etched in concrete and marble at the foot of the ancient hills. From the shimmering haze of the Kolistan Desert, Darawar Fort emerges not as a ruin, but as a declaration of power. Its 40 colossal bastions, each a perfect twin of the next, rise 30 meters from the sand, forming a near-perfect square that can be seen for kilometers. Originally a 9th-century Rajput stronghold, it was later captured and rebuilt by the Nawabs of Bahawalpur, becoming the linchpin in a chain of desert fortresses. The sheer uniformity of its design is a stark geometric counterpoint to the wild, shifting dunes that surround it. But its true genius lies beneath the surface. This wasn't simply a defensive structure. It was the heart of a system designed to control the most precious desert commodity: water. By securing the region's wells, the rulers of Darawar controlled the trade routes, the armies, and life itself. The fort stands today not just as a monument to dynastic ambition, but as a silent chronicle of humanity's enduring struggle to impose order upon a chaotic landscape. From the mist-laden hills of Fujian province, they rise like colossal sculptures of the earth itself, the Yongding Tulu. These are not mere buildings, but fortified micro-communities, born from centuries of migration and conflict dating back to the 12th century. Constructed by the Hakka people, often known as guest families, these structures were their ingenious answer to a hostile world. The walls, sometimes over 6 feet thick, are a formidable blend of rammed earth, glutinous rice, and brown sugar, designed to withstand both cannon fire and the passage of time. Step through a single, heavily fortified gateway, and the austere exterior gives way to a vibrant, inward-facing world of wooden balconies and open courtyards. Here, up to 800 people from several generations of the same clan lived in a circular arrangement of shared purpose, their lives unfolding around a central ancestral hall. The Tulu represent more than architecture. They are a masterclass in social engineering, a profound statement on how a community can turn inward to build a world of its own, safe and whole. It's difficult to comprehend, but the vast 65-mile fjord we navigate today is a landscape in its infancy, a world born from ice. When Captain George Vancouver sailed these waters in 1794, he encountered not a bay, but a colossal wall of ice thousands of feet thick, a single glacier choking the entire inlet. Less than a century later, naturalist John Muir found that same ice had retreated nearly 50 miles, unveiling this raw, scoured basin. What we are witnessing here is not an ancient relic of the Ice Age, but its immediate aftermath. Every patch of moss, every young alder, is a pioneer on freshly exposed earth, a first draft of a forest. To travel through Glacier Bay is to journey not just through space, but through geological time, watching a planet heal and remake itself at a speed we can actually perceive. Cuenca does not simply sit upon its landscape. It clings to it, a city born from the sheer rock it defies. The most famous expression of this are the casas colgadas, the hanging houses. While they appear as a daring architectural flourish today, their origin in the 15th century was born of pure necessity. As the medieval city swelled within its defensive walls, builders had nowhere to go but out, cantilevering these timber-framed homes over the abyss of the Huicar Gorge to claim precious living space from the air itself. They are a direct dialogue between human ingenuity and the unforgiving geology carved over millennia by two rivers. The limestone cliffs were not an obstacle to be overcome, but a foundation to be embraced, a vertical canvas for an entire community. To stand here is to understand that Cuenca is more than a collection of buildings. It is a testament to adaptation, a settlement that solved the problem of survival not by taming the wilderness, but by becoming an inseparable part of it. Suspended between two mountain tunnels, the Zixi suspension bridge appears less like a construction and more like a stitch in the fabric of the sky. It doesn't just cross a void, it pierces the very heart. Just a short boat ride from Bali's volcanic shores, Nusa Penida presents a geological counter-narrative. This is not an island born of fire, but one raised from the sea. Composed almost entirely of porous limestone, it is the fossilized heart of an ancient coral reef, lifted from the depths by immense tectonic pressure over millions of years. This geological inheritance is etched into every feature of the landscape. The relentless power of the Indian Ocean has sculpted the soft rock into the breathtaking, near-vertical cliffs and dramatic sea arches we see today. formations like Angel's Billabong and the collapsed sea cave of Pasi Oog, or Broken Beach, are not sudden acts of creation, but the slow, patient work of water-dissolving stone over countless millennia. It's a landscape so formidable that for centuries the Balinese kingdoms used it as a place of exile, a rugged natural prison where the deep time of the earth and the more fleeting dramas of humanity have carved out a story of their own. To set foot on the islands of Komodo is to feel a profound sense of temporal displacement, as if stepping onto a fragment of a world that predates our own. This is no mere illusion. We are standing directly on the Wallace Line, the great biogeographical boundary first identified in the 19th century that separates the ecosystems of Asia from those of Australia. The consequences of this ancient geological schism are etched into the very landscape. Sun-scorched savanna hills, looking almost skeletal, are home to the Komodo dragon, a reptilian relic of a bygone megafauna. Yet, just beneath the surface of the turquoise water lies another world entirely. One of the planet's most vibrant marine environments, where thousands of species from two distinct oceanic regions converge. Here, more than anywhere else, you can witness the raw mechanics of evolution. It is a place defined not just by what lives on it, but by the immense, invisible forces that have shaped it over millions of years, creating a living laboratory where two continents meet. The surface of Lake Wanaka holds a mirror to the sky, its stillness a study in perfect reflection. But this profound tranquility belies a creation of unimaginable force. Scarcely 10,000 years ago, a colossal river of ice, a glacier kilometers thick, ground its way through this valley with relentless momentum. It gouged the land, carving a basin so deep it plunges over 300 meters below the surface, a staggering depth hidden from the casual gaze. The sheer, U-shaped walls of the surrounding ranges are the lasting scars of that immense pressure, a geological testament to a power that moves mountains. Today, the meltwater from those same southern Alps fills this chasm, its slow journey through ancient moraine filtering it to an astonishing clarity that defines the lake's character. What we see then is not simply a body of water, but a liquid chronicle of the Ice Age, a deep, silent memory of a world sculpted by ice, now cradling the quiet light of the present day. Just 22 miles of water separate Lombok from its neighbor, Bali. Yet to cross this strait is to cross an invisible frontier, a line first identified by the naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace in 1859. This channel, the Lombok Strait, plunges to a depth of over 1,300 meters, a formidable barrier that persisted even when sea levels fell during the Ice Ages. For millennia, this deep water prevented the migration of most land animals, creating one of the world's most significant biogeographical boundaries. The consequences are written into the very soundscape of the island. The familiar chatter of Asian primates begins to give way to the distinct calls of Australasian cockatoos. Lombok, therefore, is more than just a place of stunning volcanoes and pristine beaches. It is a living testament to the immense power of geology in shaping life. Standing here, you are poised on a biological fault line, a place where one great chapter of the natural world ends and another, entirely different, begins. Here at the far eastern edge of Java, where the island stretches toward Bali across a narrow strait, lies a land that is more than just a geographical endpoint. It is a historical sanctuary. This is Banyuwangi, a name meaning fragrant water, born from a local legend of royal innocence proven by a miraculous spring. For more than 500 years, This region has served as the last redoubt for the traditions of the once mighty Majapahit Empire. As Islam spread across Java, the kingdom's Hindu-Buddhist nobility, priests and artisans retreated to this volcanic enclave, their descendants becoming the Osing people of today. You see this legacy not just in their unique dialect or the syncretic rituals they perform, but in the very fabric of the landscape. The fertile slopes of Mount Ijen, which nourished this refugee culture, also hold a powerful, almost primal energy. It's a place where the past isn't a distant memory. It's a quiet, persistent force, a kingdom's final breath carried on the fragrant air. The name Fairy Meadows is a relatively modern invention, bestowed not by ancient local legend, but by German mountaineers in 1932, who found this alpine sanctuary a stark contrast to their true objective, the colossal, ice-sheathed western face of Nanga Parbat. This is the great paradox of the landscape. The mountain, known to climbers as the Killer Mountain for its formidable fatality rate, looms over a pasture whose name evokes tranquility and myth. Reaching this haven, perched at over 3,300 meters, is an ordeal in itself, a testament to the region's raw geography. Yet, upon arrival, the sheer verticality of the world's 9th highest peak gives way to this gentle, sloping grassland. Standing here, you understand that the meadow's profound peace is not a denial of the giant's lethal power, but a direct, breathtaking counterpoint to it, a fragile sanctuary existing at the very edge of peril. Fairbanks is often defined by what glitters, the gold in its past, the aurora in its winter skies. But the city's true character is revealed not by looking up, but by looking down. Here, in the heart of Alaska's vast interior, civilization rests precariously upon a foundation of permafrost, a subterranean layer of soil, rock, and ice that has remained frozen for at least 2 consecutive years. This frozen earth, which underpins nearly 80% of the state, dictates a unique and constant negotiation with the environment. You see the evidence everywhere once you know what to look for. Buildings perched on stilts to prevent their warmth from melting the ground, and the Great Trans-Alaska Pipeline held aloft on over 78,000 supports, a silver artery carefully suspended above a fragile landscape. It is a powerful testament to human ingenuity, a community engineered not just against the cold, but in careful deference to the immense, slow-breathing power of the land it occupies. The intense, almost surreal turquoise of Lake Tekapo is not a trick of the light, but rather a direct consequence of geological time. For millennia, the great glaciers of the southern Alps have ground mountain rock into a fine, silt-like powder known as glacial flour. Suspended in the cold meltwater, these microscopic particles absorb most wavelengths of sunlight while scattering the distinct blue-green frequencies, creating a color of impossible vibrancy. You are not just looking at water, you're witnessing the slow, powerful artistry of an ice age still unfolding. This incredible clarity extends from the water to the sky above. The surrounding basin, a vast expanse of over 4,300 square kilometers, is protected as an international dark sky reserve, a deliberate preservation of darkness that acknowledges carved by a colossal glacier more than 15,000 years ago, Lake Wakatipu is more than just a repository of pristine alpine water. It is a living, breathing entity. Every 27 minutes, its entire surface rises and falls by as much as 10 centimeters, a rhythmic pulse known to science as a seiche. This standing wave, a result of atmospheric pressure, changes across its 80-kilometer serpentine form, is so consistent that it has woven itself into local legend, the eternal heartbeat of a sleeping giant resting in the lakebed. To stand on its shore is to witness a subtle yet profound dialogue between the mountains, the atmosphere, and the deep, cold heart of the lake itself. It's a powerful reminder that even the most immense and seemingly permanent features of our world are in a state of constant, quiet motion.